This is the sound of a unique skateboard that has double flexibility. That is not typical of your normal style of skateboarding. This is a skateboard that's made from epoxy. Oh, it's a resin development. Today was the discovery of a different kind of development for not just skateboard tools, but also like art development tools, like for developing little structures and little art pieces to be able to sell as toys, but a little bit cooler than toys because they're also sort of little small statues. Oh, yeah, and this resin is an interesting methodology to be able to develop artifacts and things for people to be able to enjoy our art from like future characterizations and anime development style of business music characters in the form of little toys. Oh, we had like a discovery today of how cool and precise the precision is of the type of art that can be made. Whoa, but it's more than that. It's also the skateboard, which is a methodology for getting around and developing like a rollerblade wheel skateboard, which is super light. And so that is something that is possible to be able to factor into this process. And we're looking into having prototypes made on two fronts, an electric sled as well as a resin-made skateboard. Whoa. And we've got this conceptualization as well, combined with the last couple days podcast episodes as well, where we're talking about basically developing like a marketing agency for all of the countries in the world, like in essence like an organic marketing agency that's also combined with a real estate brokerage, more or less, but that's also kind of combined with the Airbnb mindset, which in essence is trying to have a little bit of a space and place for connecting with every single country in the world, like Airbnb. And also, we are trying to go digital as well, in a definite sense, as we continue to make partnerships. But at the same time, we're also scaling it back from like 2 days ago, a podcast where we were talking about developing an egg. And these eggs we're trying to implant in all of people's minds, in people's brains, basically to also be able to develop small, like they're called prop farm eggs, basically prop farm eggs to be able to develop and leverage the tool of packaging to be able to make future value in different cities, in every single city in the world, basically. So we're starting with prop firms by trying to prop up money and prop up the value of our bank account, basically with prop firm foreign exchange accounts to be able to try to grow farms. They're called prop farm eggs because it's a symbol for being able to develop the range from one chicken all the way up to a farm, which in essence is like a symbol for, we'll call it 50 M or something like that. So that we have that range of conceptual possibilities, so that you have at least you have one chicken from the one egg, more or less. If it's, obviously has to happen. You still have to make the chicken from the one egg. And that's a focus too. It's a focus on the bottom side. It's a focus on the bottom level, the bottom barrier to entry, more or less. You have to have that one chicken at least. You have to at least have that one chicken. And then you've got something at least to work with, because I can lay a couple more eggs. And then it's at least something to start a little bit of momentum. Base momentum, bottom line momentum is the hopeful interest, obviously, in an obvious sense. But scaling that up to a farm is the other side of the obvious sense. So we want every single egg conceivably that comes from every chicken, or every egg that hatches from every chicken, and every chicken that continues to make eggs, to have that prop farm title attached to it, so it has that range conceptual potential, so that every single egg has that potential range from one chicken to a whole farm being able to grow from one single egg. And so that mindset is something that we're trying to implant in every single human being's brain at the same time, like around the world, as we continue to try to develop a brand of DINKY, TehC, and Change for Game Studios, to try to develop the game's mindset, which also has to do with developing packaging mindset. Because as we try to develop around the world, in essence, and we also try to develop our bank account, we try to develop and expand monetary energy in the same way we're talking about the prop farm eggs. Basically, we're trying to do it the same thing with human beings and human capital at the same time, so that we have that energy mindset of conceptual packaging of human capital, so that it equals in before it even does anything. Like three people at least, in essence, is something, there's a saying that one stick can snap easily, two sticks can snap also, and three sticks that are intertwined together are unbreakable. That was listened to on a podcast today. On the School of Hard Knocks, I may as well call it out directly. So nonetheless, the bottom line here is that developing packages in this fashion can develop and create deals on the front end, where the packaging deals, like production deals, develop enough front-end energy and enough front-end value to be able to create energy on the back end, so that money is like comes secondary to the energy that's created on the front end. Those are prepackaging deals, and then you're transposing and prepackaging, where you're trading the value of the front end energy based upon the team of at least, you want to talk about 3 people because of that analogy, more or less. Then you're transposing that conceptual methodology with the essence of the value in the bank account, so that monetary energy can trade places with that conceptual packaged energy on the front end, and then be able to try to grow that monetary energy on the back end by having that team energy on the front end and developing this team coalescing energetic and entrepreneurship mindset that can basically try to grow the whole world from the inside out in terms of like a philanthropy energy perspective, to be able to focus on philanthropy energy so that everybody in the world becomes entrepreneurs and they're all continuing to work together. More or less. And this is they're propping up the value of every single egg in that respect, because it's like propping up the value of a specific deal before it actually happens. Has to do with leveraging, like bank capital, for example, bank capital, lending capital, leverage capital, so that in essence it develops a higher value for a specific item, for a specific company, for a specific brand purpose, for a specific teamwork purpose, for a specific philanthropy energy purpose at the back end of a specific given focused goal development, or a destination, or a purpose development. So at the back end of that purpose development, if there's a good enough team energy on the front end with enough statistics and energy and demand energy at the front end of it, that the back end leverage can come in to prop up the value of that egg. Basically, that egg can prop up the value, just like with prop firms prop up the value of a given foreign exchange trading account, in essence, by like whatever you pay for it, to be able to prop up the value of a specific prop firm account, to be able to trade with a higher value than you started with. You pay for more money basically than you started with, so you use some monetary energy to pay for more monetary energy if you pass a challenge, I guess. And basically that challenge makes proof. It's the proof that you're capable and you're worthy of using that capital, that higher capital than you began with, because in essence you're proving the value by passing a challenge, more or less, which is the same thing by passing the challenge with a bank and propping up the value of a human capital package with 3 people, in essence, at the base minimum, I guess you could say, to be able to have that teamwork dynamic. So there's like leverage within the 3 legs of the table, basically, they can all hold each other up, and that in essence proves itself to pass the challenge to the bank to be able to leverage a higher value, a valuation for a prepackaged value, so that you can translate and transpose that value of the 3-person team at least with that back-end capital, so that has an automatic greater value to begin with, so that company starts with a higher value, and you can then grow that value from that place going forward and growing forward. And that, in essence, is meant to translate and transition to the whole entire world and every single country within, based upon having a similar methodology, so that we're focused on countries to begin with, and then good entrepreneurs to begin with as well within all of those countries, so that we're able to grow our own marketing agency and our own private equity company at the same time. But we're combining that also with real estate at the same time, so that we're also trying to sell and resell and trade assets that are already for sale and try to add value to them before they transition and change over, also in the commercial and the private real estate world, so that we're trying to combine, in essence, like a marketing agency more or less with like a real estate brokerage, in essence, but and adding some tools in between to try to add value and equity, in essence, to the deal, to the purpose, to the bridge. As they pass over the bridge, more or less, we try to add some tools to them as they go across to the other side, to hopefully become transactions that hopefully transfer into a new positive, more promising future for all these assets, to be able to continue to try to grow and span and spawn into new lives and such things, to grow into new positive philanthropy energy causing futures, in essence, which has to do with games for change, which is the definition for games for change, which is in essence having charity as the exhaust for a business vehicle, in essence. So having charitable good grow out of the back of specific businesses as we try to continue to make business vehicles as time and future sort of passes on. But at the same time, with the charitable exhaust that's coming out of the backside of the vehicle, we're trying to have that turn into perpetual energy, so that spans and spawns new eggs and new businesses with that continuous prop farm methodology, prop farm egg challenge mindset, and prop farm egg mindset continuous egg propagation or like rebirthing and redeveloping and spreading and mitosis and whatever else you want to call it, expansion, distribution, repurposing, replicating eggs, prop farm eggs in essence, that has that range conceptual potential from one chicken to a farm, more or less, so that at least when you have one egg, whenever it's falling within the category of the prop farm egg that we're trying to focus on, that it has that conceptual potential to go from one chicken, which still has the conceptual potential ability to be able to develop more chicken eggs in essence, which can develop other chickens, which can develop more eggs. So at least one chicken is still something versus nothing, so we don't want no chicken with one egg. At least that's the hopeful mindset in essence to be able to conceptualize. And then beyond that, being able to try to just consider like some farm analogy to be able to grow on the backside of one chicken to begin with, over time with scalability, and having that scalability being within every single egg, is the mindset and methodology that we're trying to grow with and go with around the whole world, so that these eggs can evolve within all people's mindsets, so that all of them can continue to try to hatch new teamworks and new teamwork energies to be able to try to continue to add value to the global philanthropy energy grid. But we're trying to do it country by country, and having the mindset to also try to conceptually visit or touch down and touch and have the ability to visit each country and go and visit and flow, within places and spaces around the world, in every single country that is possible to visit, at least that is possibly possible to actually conceptually visit, and continue to do interviews as we continue to do interviews. As we've been starting to try to do little interviews and have been doing little interviews. They just haven't been on camera just yet, but we've started to do them little by little, and we've been practicing the music also, the attempt to try to make music at the same time, so that it's kind of like back and forth, starting to make music and then transitioning to interviews, and then also starting with interviews and transitioning to music. And we're trying to combine like Jimmy Fallon and the guy from School of Hard Knocks, kind of somewhat, meaning entrepreneurship, people, like high value mindsets, combining that with like some comedy, combining that with music making, in essence. Like, so we have like kind of a mixture of what the focus of the attempt of future content making process is meant to look like as well at the same time, but with constant as best as possible, consistent collaborations as best as possible as well, to continue to try to focus on distributing our mindset and continue to distribute our process and purpose as best and most consistently and most effectively and most efficiently as possible as well, because that as the priority is what's trying to go hand in hand and mash together our commit to action side of our hand, and then the other hand, because we only have two hands in the investing mindset world also, is our monetary energy side, which is money. So we have money and action. Those are the two hands that we have to work with, and we're trying to smash those two together. Basically, we're trying to smash those two hands together, so that basically the human capital that we have and our commit to action capital within our company as a brand is able to smash directly together with our monetary energy, so that can create a vehicle to create the fastest, most spinnable, weird wormhole creating, developing process and resulting conceivable back-end possible result that we conceivably can develop in essence. And that's what the 3D3 POD engine, that is the logo flower for DINKY Tech and Change for Game Studios, is at the current time regardless. It's a perpetual engine, energy creating, recreation, development engine, more or less, in essence. Basically, it's a black hole sun, the two eyeballs, and then the smile at the bottom, the rainbow smile at the bottom, is made from electricity from different colors and such things, to be able to repurpose the energies that I'm referring to develop eggs, prop farm eggs, to try to make this methodology become electric among all human beings, to develop the global philanthropy energy grid. Like, it's like rainbow electricity that connects us all more or less in this instance, so that we all can share in the best world possible in the soonest time possible, and also kind of flow with and also among the energies from artificial intelligence as well, in hopes that this is what it's trying to do with us, like regardless in the bottom line. And at the same time, all of the most magical energy, some ambient sound. So this magical energy, the most magical energy I meant, is outside regardless. Magical energy outside is outside, and that's where the forces of the nature forces are at. nature forces are outside, and that's where all people connect, is outside. So when meditating, when trying to connect, it's like trying to find magic, trying to also do our interviews outside and trying to make music outside as well, because when it's outside, it's just like, it's really interesting. And also when there's movement connected to it, it's really interesting how it kind of happens. It's hard to describe. It's very peculiar. I mentioned Ari at Home, the YouTuber, not too long ago, because it was a relevant connection with, for some reason, somehow with me on a whim, and a couple days ago and whatnot. And the purpose of also that is because music in movement, it develops a different kind of experience for some reason. It spatially connects with different aspects of buildings and connects with different elements of sound if it's in motion, in movement, in an external experience type of way. Pretend the stadium is moving. It's something along those lines, and it's not something I experienced firsthand in person before. And so that being said, that's why the magic of nature energy is outside, more or less. It's just mentioning that the magic is outside. In essence, the magic is outside. The games being played is outside. I was able to pass a soccer ball to different people today, like on the street, in essence, just as they walk by, to be able to get them to snap out of a conceptual thought process that they were in necessarily. And that's just a conceptual way to try to develop to start an interview for the future reference, I guess, perhaps, conceivably. It's also to start playing a game with them, in essence. And that is how we're trying to change the world first, in a basic sense, and also develop a marketing agency for every country in the world. It's like starting today. It's like we have an open slot for them, opening an open slot for every single country today. They're open slots so that we can try to start to find delegates or certain representations, or develop the ability to try to market and as well connect that to real estate within every single country in the world that we possibly can. And we'll find out ways to develop the paperwork from within, from this person, from this personal connection, with our brand connection, so to speak, because of that conceptual connection, so that they have local tools. They have local tools, and we could try to trade those tools and trade energy, trade monetary energy, trade personal energy, trade human energy, trade commit to action energy, trade marketing energy, and all these energies to try to continue to make little spirals of little electricity tornadoes around the world, more or less through prop farm eggs that want to continue to propagate themselves in the short and long term. And also, if anybody else out there knows any ways to be able to try to freeze past experiences that are positive experiences, like if you've had past magic experiences outdoors when playing games, it's sometimes nice when you're acknowledging a nice time, when you're outside and you're experiencing outdoor nature energy, and you feel it, and it's kind of a good deal, because you can feel the wafting of energy of folks that are around and such. And if there's a way to somehow freeze frame that, to take a picture of that, and somehow preserve it in a time capsule, someone please write in and let us know how to try to preserve that magic, because it's very interesting and very peculiar and very unique, I guess, other than taking mental snapshots, and those mental snapshots add up to a storybook and a storyboard of high frequency, in essence, storybooks within the mind, within individual minds and mindsets, to be able to try to develop greater awareness and greater philanthropy energy for the greater philanthropy energy, global philanthropy energy grid, I suppose you could say. So let's try to continue to make those mental books, to try to develop more frequencies to work towards a greater and more powerful and stronger and more thick and dense global philanthropy energy grid, so all human beings can benefit positively from the more so philanthropy energy, from the more so growing and denser global philanthropy energy grid that's electricity connecting all human beings from the philanthropy energy grid. Have a good day, I suppose you could say. Thanks again. Bye, DINKY, bye, peace, bye.